now.
Sorry.
So how you doing, Brume? Sorry, like I said earlier on, I have an
good
appointment and I want to rush. But let me hear from you. Did you start from the beginning? So you heard all the analogy. Okay. So what is your take?
Like that last person said, right? There has to be context. Okay. In my personal experience, right, I've lived in Nigeria. I lived and worked in Nigeria for a long time. So I am fully Nigerian by blood. I experienced everything, okay? I experienced emergencies, I experienced healthcare. You know, I've seen everything in Nigeria, right? I lived in Angola, right? I'll tell you for free, Angola is worse than Nigeria. Like, people pray when they take their kids to hospital for them to come back alive. So in that case, Nigeria beats many African countries when it comes to healthcare. However, I did live in Abu Dhabi for 4 years, right? Abu Dhabi, if you want to see a gastroenterologist, an ophthalmologist, any ologist, you walk into the hospital and you get it straight. There is no wait time. It's like, hello, my son isn't breathing properly. He needs something scopy. It's like, come now, go to room 5, get it, sharp, okay? Now, you know, I had something I was putting off, and I came to Canada without understanding how things were. And first of all, you have to get a family doctor, right? The wait for that one is crazy. Some people don't have family doctors after years here, right? So you go to a walk-in clinic, okay? The walk-in clinic, wait time is normally 5 hours, right? Just to tell them you have a headache, okay? Yeah. If there's something that requires like further testing, then they refer you to a lab. You go there, you get a X-ray, you get stuff, and then you come back with the result, right? Sometimes they will tell you to go to your family doctor if you have one, right? An appointment with him could take weeks just to read an X-ray, right? So there are some things that when you understand the system, right, you understand that if it's life-threatening, like you have a chest pain, for example, if you just call and say, I have chest pain, in 5 minutes, the ambulance with the sirens are going to be in front of your door. They are hooking you up to the ECG machine in the ambulance. They are checking your vitals. They're asking you questions. By the time you get to the hospital, they are waiting for you at the hospital, right? And they're taking you in immediately. Okay, so there are some things here that work very well, aka emergency care. However, everything else that it frees has a long wait time, right? Is the healthcare good? Yes, it is good. As long, so the rule is that don't fall very sick, okay? Just try to be well as much as you can, because all the talk about wait times are valid. But when there's life-threatening issues that it frees, there is no wait time. They handle them immediately. I once went to the clinic to complain about chest pain. I just wanted painkillers, quietly. In 5 minutes, I was on a stretcher in an ambulance against my will. Yeah. I got to the hospital. There were people waiting. They took me to the front, took me into the room, hooked me up, blood, everything. And in 15 minutes, the doctor was there asking me questions, right? So the thing is that when there's something that can kill you and you call regarding that, you get care immediately. If it's just like my leg is paining me and I just want someone to check it, or I feel like there's something I need to do, like I have a lump of fat somewhere, then you wait for a long time, right? So life-threatening stuff gets handled quickly. But the beauty is that all of this is free, except the ambulance. The ambulance is not free, right? So if I'm just here now and I have chest pain and I call them to come to my house, it's $500. They will send me the bill, right? If I go to a clinic like I did and I complain from the clinic and the clinic calls the ambulance, then I pay only 10%, which is $50. That's the only time when I've ever been charged for anything. You know, when it comes to drugs, dental care, eye care, if you have a good job, your company insurance pays for those, but the free healthcare covers a lot of that, right? So based on my experience in different places, right, I would say for Nigeria, because recently my dad suffered like a bad accident and we had to go through the Nigerian medical system. And I must tell you, because we are all abroad and we could kind of afford it, I was impressed, honestly. I won't lie to you, right? I was impressed I didn't know that we had good working ICUs in Benin. I didn't know that we had that kind of medical care in Benin. So my brother is a doctor in the UK and he was very happy with the medical care my dad received in Benin. I was happy too when I saw the pictures. I'm like, oh, he's hooked up to all these things that we, okay, so, you know, but you have to have money, right? Because to admit, you have to first drop 500K at the door before they even say, okay, what's his name, right? So I would say for Nigerians in Nigeria, you have to have money, liquid cash to enjoy the same kind of medical care that we enjoy here. You get it faster, you get it immediately. My brother and sister, when they have like emergency procedures, they come to Lagos to do them from UK because you can get it immediately that it frees. It's you just walk in there and
they were arguing with
you.
You know why I love you, Brume?
Yeah.
You be guys, so I know if you love you because that one you they think most people are sentimental.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people in my DM that it took me 6 months to get. So I put all this together, but until I'm able to actually talk to someone who lives there, who works there. Now, there are people who live abroad and work abroad and are not right-thinking people. I have very few people that I consider right-thinking people. You, Priye, Diary of a Canadian Mom, Bongo Lee, and a few others who I consider people who are not swayed by emotions or sentiments. So if you say your family members from the UK and the US, or the UK that is, come to Nigeria, I understand totally. I get reports of that all the time. My father had open heart surgery in Ekiti State, after Babalola ultra-modern hospital in Ekiti State. As in, I have a video, I've formatted that particular phone. You will see my father's heart beating like this. They opened my father's heart. You will see the heart beating like this. If I had it on this, I would have shown you. It was done here. They grafted veins from his leg and patched his heart. It was done here in Nigeria. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah. All right, I'll meet her there. I'll meet her there in 5 minutes. Okay. Sorry, so I had an appointment, so taste buds called.
Seems like you have to run the field.
So before you go, Brume, I wanted to ask you, the Canadian healthcare system or the Abu Dhabi healthcare system, which do you consider better?
The Abu Dhabi healthcare system, of course.
You might not have
without
lived
a doubt.
in the UK. You might not have lived in the UK, but you have lived in Canada, and you have family members who live in the UK. Can you compare the Abu Dhabi healthcare system and the UK system and tell me what you think?
I think, honestly speaking, I think the Abu Dhabi healthcare system, you know, the UAE generally, their healthcare system beats most other places, right? Because when you are there, right, most of the things are not out of pocket, right? If you employ a housemaid in Abu Dhabi, you have to buy her health insurance, or him, as the case may be. So everybody has a health insurance card in their pocket, and when they go to the hospital, it depends on what level of health insurance they get, but everybody gets healthcare. Like, there is no wait time like we have here. So if you have a problem, you walk into the hospital. You have doctors from all over the world, Nigerians, Americans, British. If you have a preference, if you say, look, I want a female doctor, a female Muslim doctor, you get it. I want a male Christian doctor, you will get that. All in the same department, right? So they even consider preferences because they understand people there have preferences, right? The facilities are walls. You go to the hospital, is like Eco Hotel. It's standard, it's beautiful, right? And we've seen emergencies, and we've seen how quickly they respond and the class of care that we've received there. So honestly speaking, you know, from what I know of all of them, including the US healthcare system, right, just for the accessibility and the kind of standard that you get, I think they are above most other places because they have the professionals, they have the equipment, and the people have access to world-class facilities, right? So I rate them above most other places, right? Except some, I don't know if someone else has a different opinion, but this is what I have seen physically and experienced.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If you were earning $5,000 for doing the same thing in Canada, and you had the option of going to Nigeria to earn the same $5,000 for doing the exact same thing, what would you do?
The money is pay to me in dollars in Nigeria.
Dollars in Nigeria.
I'll come to Nigeria straight away.
So this is the part of the conversation that we're coming back for. If you had access to the kind of money they have abroad, would you still live in Nigeria? It's going to be a very open-ended discussion. It's not me fighting the Abroadarians. I don't want Abroadarians, because there was a time I went through that. And let me be very honest, my biggest customers are Abroadarians. It's just like my biggest customers are Igbo people. So no matter what Igbo people, that's why you not see me sitting down here and talking about Nnamdi Kanu. Maybe I'll do ones when they overdo things. But I try to avoid things like that because I also have to make my customers happy. So yeah, my biggest customers, according to my statistics, Igbo now 60% of my customers. The remaining 40% now everybody join. So as somebody that has sense, I have a preference for my customer. Everybody, even my brother, they tell you don't shoot your customer. The person my customer. Then secondly, out of all my customers, about 70% are abroad. So I have to be very respectful when I'm dealing with any matter that concerns abroad people. So abroad people, my customers will not say, oh, this Daddy Freeze is too rude. In fact, we're not patronizing his services again. No. That's not what. But you see, we also need to come to a point where we can have an overwhelming academic consensus or an overwhelming scholarly agreement that, okay, if we look at rent, we look at feeding, we look at security, we look at all the things, would you still be able to choose Nigeria, or it just has to be abroad? That and more when we come
later
back at 7 p.m. Brume,
okay.
Highest salute. Take care.
Okay, Daddy Freeze.
And God bless.
Take
Everybody,
care.
thank you all so much. I love you guys. Bye.